today I'm going to be doing a project breakdown of one of the album tracks. Yeah, I'll just play a bit of this track I'm about to break down. If you haven't heard it already, you can hear it on all platforms. It's called Petrushka. Yeah, so if you want to hear the full thing, you can go check it out. Alright, so I guess I'll start with the drums, because that's a very big part of this track. So there's always a percussive bed in the whole track. I wanted this to be a very percussive, tribally type track. And a lot of that power comes from these taiko drums. I think this is from a contact patch that I sampled. So yeah, everything is sort of being driven by these taiko drums. And some shakers I recorded. But yeah, this drum track's pretty simple. Yeah, just a hi-hat. And then the kick drum is something I do a lot. It's yeah, kick 2. For the transient part of the kick, and then I use an instance of Serum for the sub. Shout out to, I forgot his name, who made the Serum 98 skin. It inspired me to make a Ableton 98 skin, kind of. Yeah, so let me solo the kick. And then on that kick group, I've got this thing that I made called a transient morpher. It attaches an envelope to the band divider of 2 different bands, and then by messing with the decay and attack speed and other settings, you can get you can change the sound of your transients and stuff. And it helps it hit a little bit harder. I'll play it without. Fills it out a little bit. I think with these settings, it's just using a little bit of saturation. There's no like manipulation of the transient happening at all. I'm just using it as a saturator basically right now. Yeah, adding a little bit of high end and taking out some mids. There were 2 resonant peaks in the kick that I wanted to make a little bit less pronounced. You can hear them when I take the EQ off. So yeah, the kick is always a really important part of any track like this. Yeah, there's also a little bit of a distortion sound going on. I think that's from the sample I'm using. Alright, so let's move on to the bass. So the bass is comprised of a few different elements all playing together. So I have this sub layer. Relatively simple. If you open up phase plant, let's make it a bit bigger. all the sub is just a detuned saw wave with a filter on it. That's what got me confused, because I thought I switched that out for another type of Reese. But anyway, so as you can see, it's pretty simple, just the detuned saw with a little tiny bit of spread even. And yeah, some distortion, a little bit more filtering going on, and also making it so there's like a resonant peak that moves with the pitch, and then a tiny bit of bit crushing to give it that fizz in the top end, and then a filter to take out the mids, and that's also moving with the pitch of the note. Just so slightly. And then, yeah, this is just making the bass mono. A tiny bit of saturation / distortion going on here. Some EQing to take out more of the mids, and some harsh frequencies in the high end. And then this tape plugin that I use a lot. Yeah, this UAD Studio 800 is really great for just making things sound a little bit thicker and more present in the mix. And then this at the end, just so I can filter off the high end, or off the low end sometimes, when I'm doing like build-ups and stuff. But yeah, that's just one layer of the bass. Then there's this distortion layer. So I'll usually have one sub layer and then one layer that I'll distort a lot more. And then usually high pass the low end out of it. So it slowly comes in eventually till it, you know, the filter opens up completely. Yeah, it's just a D2 saw wave again. With some reverb, more trash, sausage fattener turned up to 100. Yeah, some EQ to take out the mids, and then this plugin I use a lot just to blur the sound a bit. I can't explain it, but it's an FTT curve shaper. I don't know what you would call this, but it takes the sound, splits it into a bunch of partials, and then you can manipulate the partials in various ways. And just one effect of it is it sort of blurs the transients and blurs things a little bit, and I like to use that to, like, say, take a harsh digital sounding distortion and soften it up a little bit just to make it sound a bit more analog. It really helps. What's this third layer of the bass? So I'm guessing this third layer is something a bit more stereo. Yeah, because so far these two bass sounds are very mono sounding, so I needed something to fill out the stereo signal as well. So I used FM8 for this, it looks like. Yep, just took two oscillators, panned them two sides, and detuned them slightly. And yeah, pretty simple. Just a pedal, plug-in, filter, phaser. I love phasers. Multipass, which I use a lot. This is a trick I do a lot, is I ring mod the high end, but using the second band or a sub or something, so the low frequencies modulate the high frequencies, and that usually causes kind of like fake distortion sound, which is often a lot better to use in some circumstances than real distortion. You know, it's doing the same thing as distortion. When you're distorting something, the low end is going to affect the high end frequencies because it's sort of squashing everything together, and you hear that sort of fluttering in the high end when you distort something. So that's kind of what it's replicating. And then yeah, just more taking off the sub and getting rid of the mids. Yeah, let's go through the other synth elements. So yeah, so for most of the drop, it's pretty bass heavy, not much happening in the mids until this section comes in. And I guess it says external instrument, and I'm pretty sure I used my Yamaha TX81Z. Let me see if I can pull the camera up. Hopefully you can see it there. Yeah. Just under that, it's on the bottom of that rack. Yeah, it's just an FM synth. It's really good for making sort of belly textures. Not much happening in the actual synth itself if I take off all the group processing. Yeah, it's really not much going on. So yeah, a lot of the sound is happening here. Gate, I'm guessing just because there was a lot of background noise in the synth. Some filtering, just to gradually filter it up. Using OTT to squash it down because I wanted it to be more in the background. So halfway through this, it sort of changes to this like really distorted texture, and so I take this whole group and then at some points I distort it with a sub and then take the sub out with an EQ to sort of do that distortion effect that I was doing in a fake way with the multipass. But this way I can like add the bass in at some points and then have that distort with the mids at some points. So if I take this EQ off, you'll hear the bass that I mixed it with. Simple synth-wise. Most of the energy comes from the bass. Yeah, it's a really gradually building track. Not a lot of elements come in until the breakdown. And then I have this vocal. And yeah, that's just a cappella. Yeah, I just felt like it needed some kind of atmospheric vocal to fill the background. Also, a huge inspiration for this track came from One For You by James Holden. which is a really old Holden track that I really love. And if you listen, you'll hear where a lot of the inspiration came from. Yeah, so then I introduce this little synth pluck. Distorting a tiny bit. I didn't want it to be too clean because I wanted it to sound like an old synth. And for this I'm using Locomotive, which is a free synth that I guess I just loaded up randomly. And then layered on top of that is this. So yeah, pretty simple. Most of that sound is coming from the delay and the ducking of the reverb and the delay. If I took this off. Yeah, this does a pretty drastic change. I guess this is a pad. Yeah, I really like this pad patch. Yeah, I think this is just some stock phase plant sample. And yeah, heavily flanged and filtered. But yeah, I really like the way that this pad sound turned out. So yeah, it's really just about these bass layers and more bass. Yeah, I guess I wanted a different bass layer for different sections. So like the breakdown will have a different sound to it. Something I think that really works well with this drop is this delayed vocal that just keeps on going throughout the build-up and then the drop. Without it, it just sounds a little bit empty. Yeah, I always like drones happening in the background at important moments. we can go through the effects bus now. I used a lot of effects from my MS-20 recorded. This doesn't sound like it's from my MS-20. But anyway, that's probably from a sampled instrument I made. Just some effects layers, like this clap. Noise to fill out the energy. But yeah, effects are a big part of this track as well. It fills out a lot of the energy in this. Yeah, and these are all parts of long sound design experiments. Lots of delay on it, I suspect. And yeah, checking out the low end. Yeah, sometimes I like to automate the threshold of a compressor to simulate something moving away rather than just lowering the volume. I find that works really well sometimes. Yeah, that's something I used to do a lot when I first started producing, is I'll just take a loop, chop it, and that would be my drum roll, put loads of delay on it. And I really liked those sounds, and I missed them. So yeah, I've been using those kind of things a lot more. What was the chord progression of the pads? Yeah, it's a really, really simple chord progression. So yeah, just B minor and E minor, but it's these little, decorations of the progression that make it really nice. It could just be, da, 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 and then it would be pretty boring, but these... Yeah, they help it move along nicely. Just enforcing what these synths are doing. Yeah, I really like the way those two layers play off each other, with the one that's filtering bandpass filter. It's something that I heard trance producers do a lot back in the day, like the famous track Synesthesia is like that. I guess that's all I have to say about this track. But I guess I could take this opportunity to go check out Stratus Fest. It's a big Minecraft event that I'm helping to organize, and I'm playing a big album set at, so go to www.stratusfest.com or tickets.matzo.events, either one. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys whenever I decide to do another project breakdown, which should be fairly soon. Alright, I'll see you guys later. Peace.